Here we have Archer from our Scarlett litter. Archer has been in training since he was 8 weeks old and has been thriving in training. He has been introduced to his sit, down, kennel, and wait commands and no longer needs a lure for his sit. What we're working on here, one of our local parks, is his leash walking. So what we do when we work on our leash walking, we take a lure, which is a treat, and we hold it to our left side. This is to teach our puppies to walk to our left side with a nice loose leash. So taking that treat, letting Archer nibble on it as we slowly walk. This is having a positive reward for him walking to my left side. When Archer goes to walk out in front of me, I say, easy, and I stop walking. And I wait for slack in the leash. Since he's learning this command, because leash walking is a command, I take the treat to my left side, and then that's how I reposition him. I say, easy, let him come back to the treat, to my left side. There's then slack in the leash, and we continue walking. This shows him that when there is tension on the leash, we do not get going where we want to go. Instead, we have to wait until there is slack and no pressure. Don't mind that he stops to itch behind his ear a little bit. He is wearing a thing called a martingale, which is a training collar that we use with very young puppies. So the martingale is designed to teach a puppy that they cannot back out of the collar. It is a very common thing with a young puppy that they try to do a thing called bucking out of the leash, or collar, I should say. And that's when they try to back out and they tend to slip a regular collar. So this helps with that, as well as letting them feel a little bit of the pressure as they pull. So it is more so a safety collar than anything, because of course this does not give any form of correction. Instead, it just is a safety mechanism to make sure your puppy cannot back out of the collar. So as Archer continues to work on this, you're going to notice that sometimes he gets a little bit distracted, which is very normal. I'll never use that leash to pull him to my left side or reposition him. It will actually teach Archer to pull harder, because it is almost as if you were playing tug of war. And this way he thinks that he's going to pull back, and it builds a resilience to the leash walking. So instead, what we do is we stop walking. We wait till they figure it out and they give us our focus like he just did there, and he sat down. And of course, I gave him that easy prior. And then once he came back to my left side, I say this way and continue walking. I'm also constantly giving Archer positive marker words. These are words that encourage and reward Archer and let him know and assure him that he is doing exactly what I would like him to do. This down the road is very important for his training, as when we phase out of using treats, these will be just as good as treats, because they then tell him that he's doing exactly what I want. It's almost as if I am handing him a treat, but instead I'm just using those positive marker words. So always just keeping the leash walking as a positive. Again, leash walking is a command. Puppies don't understand that when you put a leash on them, they are just expected to walk nicely. So even though Archer is going to learn how to walk nicely with me, when he goes home, you will have to continue doing these things to make sure we keep it in check and we keep Archer on track with his leash walking. When he gets a little distracted like he just did there, I just say this way, and sometimes even make a little bit of a noise to cue in that handler focus. Then again, saying this way when we continue walking. You'll notice here that Archer is a little distracted, so when I gave him the sit command and hand gesture, he didn't do it the first time. Instead of repeating the command, I just held that hand signal, and he then gave in and did the sit. So I want to work on having him sit when we are leash walking and I stop walking. Of course, we are in a new environment and he's very distracted. But right there you just saw, I gave him the sit command and he sat down great, and I gave lots of praise. This way he doesn't think he only has to work for a treat. On this part of our field trip, I did drop Archer's leash, of course only because it was safe to do so. There were no people walking by, as was there no other dogs walking by, so I had Archer's complete focus. We did end up having a walker kind of walk up towards us, and she did say hello to Archer, but I did not get to record that. That being said, He just stuck with me and did really, really great with this. He's kind of looking over there, saw the person, and still came up to me anyway. I'm using noises to entice that focus and then praising him when he gets to me. This was just giving him a little bit of freedom, of course, also working a little bit on his recall, getting him to look at me telling him, Archer, come, in an excited tone of voice, and when he gets to me, I praise him. At the tail end of our field trip, Archer was able to play with his brother Murray and was having some really great times running around and just enjoying being a puppy. We got some nice slow motion clips of them doing so. This is what our field trips are about, helping desensitize and making sure our puppies are having a great time while in training.